Good morning children and welcome to lesson number 2, Children at Work, from the supplementary reader It So Happened. This lesson is about children at work. This is based on the real life experiences of Velu, a runaway village child, and a girl of similar age, Jaya, who is surviving in a city as a rag picker. Later on, Velu also ends up as a rag picker in the big city, and he is faced with the harsh realities of life on the street. But before we begin the lesson, I would like to introduce you to the authors. They are Geeta Wolf, Anushka Ravishankar, and Arijit Sen. Geeta Wolf is an Indian author and publisher. She has written nearly 25 books for children and adults. She is considered as one of the most original and creative voices in contemporary Indian publishing. Many of her books have won international awards. Anushka Ravishankar is an award-winning author of children's books and the co-founder of Duckbill Books, a publishing house. She has over 18 books to her credit. And Arijit Sen is an Indian graphic artist and designer. He co-founded People Tree in 1990 as a collaborative studio and store for artists, designers and craftspeople. Now, let us go to the lesson. There are many reasons why children have to work. Some help their family make a livelihood. Others who run away from unhappy homes need to support themselves. Children who have to work can't go to school and play like other children of their age. Velu, an 11-year-old boy, runs away from home. He wanders around for hours before getting on a train to Chennai without a ticket. Tired and hungry, he doesn't know where to go when a stranger at the station shouts a word of welcome. When the Kanyakumari Express pulled in at Chennai Central, it took Velu some time to get off. When he finally stood at the platform, his legs felt wobbly, as if he was still on a moving train. Oi, out of the way! A porter went by with a loaded trolley. Velu jumped aside. He sat on a bench on the platform, putting his small bundle down. In all his 11 years, he had never seen so many people, except for once a year at the fair in his village. People walked by, bumping into him with their suitcases. A voice announced something on a loudspeaker. Near him, a group of people sat. So here, this story begins with a little boy, Velu, who is 11-year-old and he has run away from home. He wanders around for many hours and then he gets onto a train to Chennai. Now this Kanyakumari Express pulls in at Chennai Central, and it took him some time to get off because he was not used to being in a train and he was feeling motion sickness. His legs felt very wobbly as though he was about to fall. So while he was trying to collect himself, collect his bearings, a porter went by and said, "Oi, out of the way!" And he jumped aside. Then he sat down there, putting his small little bundle of clothes down. He had never seen so many people. It was an amazing sight. People walked by, bumping into him with their suitcases, and there was a voice announcing something on the loudspeaker. Children, the meaning of the word pulled in is arrived. That means the train arrived at that particular station, and wobbly means to feel very unsteady. People sat with their luggage looking at a TV hanging from the roof. The noise was terrible. Velu put his head down on his knees, feeling very miserable and exhausted. He had run away from his village 2 days ago. For 2 days he had eaten nothing but some peanuts and a piece of jaggery. In his bundle, he carried a shirt, a towel and a comb. He had walked for most of the first day to Kannur and then got on the train to Chennai. Velu had no money for a ticket, but luckily the ticket collector didn't come to the unreserved compartment. He had tried to sleep on the floor near the door. A group of men next to him had played cards and shouted all night. "Hey, what, new to the town, eh?" called out a rough voice. Velu opened his eyes. There were a lot of people standing around, but nobody was looking at him. Here, hey! He turned around. Behind him was a girl around his own age, wearing a long banyan that came down to her knees. Her hair was stiff and brownish, and she had a huge sack on one shoulder. She was picking up dirty plastic cups from the floor and stuffing them. So here, as we can see, Vellu reaches Chennai Central, and because he is feeling very unsteady, he sits down. And then he puts his head down on his knees, feeling very miserable and tired, extremely tired. He had run away from his village, and so he had nothing except some peanuts and a piece of jaggery. And in a small little bundle, he had only a shirt, a towel, and a comb. He had, since he ran away from home, he had no money, and therefore he had to walk a very long distance. But he boarded the Chennai the train without any ticket. But because the ticket collector didn't come, he escaped without being caught. And he had tried to sleep near the door, but a group of men were playing cards the whole night and shouting, so he wasn't able to sleep. Just as he was sitting and looking around, a rough voice called out to him and said, "Oh, are you new to town?" He looked and saw that there was a girl around the same age, 10 or 11 years old, wearing a long banyan that came down to her knees, and she was dirty looking with very poor, very simple clothes, and she was carrying a big sack on one shoulder, and from the station she was picking up dirty plastic cups from the floor and stuffing them into that sack. Why is she calling me, thought Vellu, and why is a girl wearing a banyan? No need to stare stupidly. What's your name? Vellu, muttered Vellu and looking away. So, Mr. Vellu, said the girl, looking at his bundle, run away from home. Vellu didn't answer. He didn't want to tell some strange girl what he had done. He had run away because he couldn't stand his father beating him for one more day. His father would snatch away all the money Vellu and his sisters earned and spent it on drink. Don't think I don't know. This place is full of children like you. So what are you going to do here? Become rich? She sat down next to him. Vellu shifted away slightly. He felt hunger pinching him and pressed his stomach with a grimace. Hungry? Asked the girl. You won't get food by sitting here glumly making faces. I can find some if you want. So here, as we can see, that Vellu, like a girl comes and begins talking to him. So he is quite surprised that how come a stranger is coming and talking to him. And then the girl tells him that stop staring stupidly. She asks him his name and he replies and tells her his name. And then she makes a good guess. She says, oh, you've run away from home, right? But he didn't answer her because he didn't want to talk to any stranger. She said, but she replied very knowingly. She told him, don't think that I don't know, because this place, Chennai, is full of so many children who have run away from home. And just at that moment, Vellu began to feel the pangs of hunger, in his stomach, and he couldn't bear that pain. So the girl made another guess which was correct, and she said, oh, you're hungry, but if you sit over here, you're not going to get any food. If you want to eat something, then you can come along with me. I'll find some food for you. So she picked up a sack and started to walk away. Vellu stayed on the bench. What should he do? Should he follow this girl? Where was she going to take him? She was disappearing into the crowd. So he had to make up his mind quickly. All right, he decided. Anyway, I have no idea where to go. He jumped up and ran after her. She wasn't even looking back to see where he was. So after making him that invitation, giving him that invitation that if you want something to eat, then come, I'll find you something to eat. And then the girl quickly walks away. And Vellu, sitting there very, in a confused state, then realizes that if he doesn't hurry up, he will lose her. And so he decides that he will follow her. So he jumps and runs after her. But he saw her ahead of him, but she wasn't looking back to see where he was. A grimace is a twisted expression on the face due to pain. But here in Vellu's case, it was due to hunger. And glumly means very sadly or gloomily. So Velu follows his friend through the crowded streets to a big building, and behind that building there's a big garbage bin. Velu wonders why they are there at all. So let us continue reading, children. He caught up with the girl as she was leaving the station. When they got to the road, Velu found that the vehicles kept coming and never stopped for anyone. Smoke and dust flew at him from all sides, making his head spin. They had to wait for a long time before they could find a gap to run through. Velu kept hesitating and the girl finally dragged him to the other side. What do you think you're doing? Grazing cows? If you stand around in the middle of the road like that, you'll be chutney. Velu's heart was still beating fast. He looked back at the central station and the traffic speeding by. How had they managed to come through that? They walked along the side of the road. So here, as we can see, after Velu decides to follow Jaya, he runs after that girl and then he gets stuck there in the traffic. He gets stuck on one side of the road. There's so many vehicles passing to and fro that he has never seen so many vehicles before. And there's smoke and dust flying and people going about to and fro. And then he keeps waiting there for a long time for a gap through which he can go and cross on over to the other side. He kept on hesitating, but Jaya was used to being on the road, and so she dragged him to the other side and she then scolded him. She asked him what he thought he was doing. Was he grazing cows in the middle of the street? So she told him that if you stand around there, you will get knocked down by some vehicle and then you'll become chutney. Chutney means you'll become flat there. So Velu's heart was still beating fast. He couldn't get over the sight of such traffic. And then he looked back at the station and he saw how fast the vehicles were moving, and he wondered how did people cross through such traffic. Then we will continue reading. They walked along the side of the road under some huge signboards. Velu looked up at the pictures. Banyans, car tires, pens, a woman holding a box. The writing was all in English, so he didn't know what it meant. The girl turned onto a wide bridge and walked up. Velu stopped and peeped over the railing. Under him the roads ran into the city. In the distance he could see huge buildings and towers and more roads. See that big building with the wall around it? If you are not careful, you'll soon be counting bars there. The girl grinned and pointed at a huge building. Velu squinted and read the Tamil sign. Central Jail. Why? I haven't done anything wrong. You don't have to do anything. Just don't get caught, that's all. What does she mean? Velu wondered. Meanwhile, the girl was already heading down the bridge with a sack on her shoulder. What was in it? He had seen her putting plastic cups into it at the station. So here, after they cross through the traffic, the girl Jaya takes Velu along, and as he keeps walking, they go onto a bridge and they walk up, and then he looks down there. Then he looks at a huge building, towers and roads, and the girl shows him a big building with a wall, and she tells him, be careful, otherwise he would end up being behind prison bars. And she laughs at him. But Velu squinted and asked, why should he be in prison when he hasn't done anything wrong? She said, no, you don't have to do anything. She just said, don't get caught, that's all. And he didn't even understand what she meant by that. So, and then she continued walking. He wondered what was inside that big sack on her shoulder. He had seen her putting plastic cups inside it. So then we will continue reading. He asked her what she was carrying in that bag. Things, bottles, paper. Velu wondered what she was doing with them, but he felt shy to ask any more questions. It was still morning, but the sun blasted down on the tar, and Velu's bare feet burned. It was not like walking on a mud road. He was soaked with sweat. He tried hard to walk in the shade and kept up with the girl at the same time. She walked really fast. How far away was the food? After almost an hour of walking, they stopped in front of a big building. Shri Rajarajeshwari Prasanna Kalyana Mandapam, read Velu slowly. A sign with letters made of flowers said, Groom J.V. Vinayagan, Bride Rani. Velu stared at the big cars parked outside. So here, children, as we see, Velu keeps wondering at what is inside the girl's sack, but he is too polite to ask her what was in it. And then he felt very shy. But as they continued walking, it became hotter and hotter, and he had no chappals on his feet, no slippers, and so his bare feet burned walking on that coal tar. It was not like walking on a mud road. He was already soaked up in sweat. He tried very hard to walk in the shade and to keep up, but the girl walked really fast. And after walking for almost an hour, they stopped in front of a big building. That was Rajeshwari Prasanna Kalyana Mandapam, and there was a sign saying that means there was a marriage going on. There was a marriage taking place, and he could see big cars parked outside, and one of them had a flower garland and roses taped onto it. So it was decorated very beautifully with roses. The girl looked around and pulled one off and stuck it in her hair. "Come on," she said. Velu asked her, "Are we going to eat here?" looking at the huge hall and the people inside. "Hopes," said the girl, shaking her thumb under his nose. She led him behind the hall, and there was a big garbage bin overflowing with rubbish. 2 goats were standing on the pile fighting for a banana leaf. A cloud of flies buzzed round their legs. There was a rotten smell in the air. The girl picked up a squashy banana and held it out to Velu. "Here's your food." Velu was shocked. "Are we going to eat their leftovers?" "Sheh, what do you think I am, a dog? I only take untouched food. Here, some more, catch." She threw him a vada. Velu looked at it with distaste. So, when Velu saw that they had come to a building where there was a marriage ceremony taking place, he thought he would, he wondered that Jaya had brought him here in order for him to have some food. So he asked her that, "Are we going to eat here?" She said, "Oh, you have high hopes." "No, not at all." And then she took him behind that building where there was a garbage dump. And there were 2 goats fighting over a banana leaf. There were flies buzzing there. And the girl found a banana. It was all squashed up. She held it out to him. "Here's your food." And he was shocked. Never before had he ever eaten anything from a garbage dump. He asked her, "Do you think I'm a dog? I only eat untouched food." But as he was speaking angrily, she threw him a vada. And Velu looked at it with great distaste. He didn't like it at all. "Come on, hero, eat it. You think I like it? I told you I'll find you something to eat. Don't think I have money to buy food for you. You better eat what you get until you have your own money." Velu hesitated, but his stomach squeezed him again. He gulped down the banana and the vada. His stomach felt better immediately. He could have eaten at least 10 times more, but the girl could find only one more banana, which she ate herself. So here was Velu, not liking the scene, not wanting to eat from a garbage dump, but he was so hungry that he had to, he was forced to eat that banana and vada. And he thought he could have eaten a lot more, but there was only one more banana which the girl ate herself. It's too early. They've only eaten tiffin. If you're still hungry, you'll have to wait for them to finish lunch. You can wait if you want. I have to work. I am going. She picked up a couple of bottles from the heap and threw them into her sack. Then she walked off. Velu panicked. He realized that if the girl left him, he had no idea where he was and what to do. It was better to stick to her. She seemed to know her way around. He ran after her again. "Hey," he called. He didn't even know the girl's name. "Hey, what is your name?" he asked, hurrying behind her. She stopped and turned round. "Oh ho, so you've been following me around without even knowing my name." "Jaya, I'm not following you." "What then? Who got you food? Can I come with you? Where are you going? Come if you want. This bag is full. I have to go home and get another one." So here we see that after eating the banana and the vada, Velu, the girl told him that this was only a little bit of food. If you are hungry and you want some more food, then you'll have to wait here by the garbage dump until the people at the marriage reception eat their lunch. Then you will be able to get some more food. But she said, "I cannot wait. I have to go back to work." And so she said, "I'm going. You can wait here." But Velu was in a panic. He panicked means he was really worried. He said, at least this girl knows her way around this city, and if I stay here and I'm all alone, I will not know what to do. So he called out to her, hey, hey. And then the girl said, oh, you're following me, right? He asked her name, and then she replied that her name was Jaya. She says, you're following? He said, no, I'm not following you. She said, then I am the one who got you that food, isn't it? Then he asked her if he could go with her, and she told him that it was okay if he wanted to come. He could come along with her, but since her bag was full, she had to go home, leave it there, and come back with another empty bag. So let us read on further. There is a row of huts near some dirty puddles. Outside one of the huts, Jaya dumps her sack. Grateful to his friend, Velu thinks of the days ahead. Jaya and Velu walked along the roads for half an hour until they came to a bridge across a dirty trickle of water. We are in Triplicane now. See, that's Buckingham Canal, said Jaya. So here, after leaving from that place, and Jaya and Velu walk towards Jaya's house, and they come to a bridge where they see dirty water trickling, and then she says that that's the Buckingham Canal. Velu stared. This was a canal. Near some puddles of water was a row of strangest huts he had ever seen. They were built out of all sorts of things: metal sheets, tires, bricks, wood and plastic. They stood crookedly and looked as if they would fall any moment. Is this where you live? These houses are strange, said Velu. In our village, the houses are made of mud and palm leaves. Jaya went round to one of the huts and dumped her sack outside. Then she picked up an empty one. Let's go. She turned to Velu and gave him a shove. At least help me now. Here, wear these and come with me. She threw him a pair of old shoes without laces and pushed a sack and a stick into his hands. Velu was confused. What work did she want him to do with these things? The only work he had ever done was on the landowner's farm, weeding and taking cows out to graze. Are there any farms in the city? Asked Jaya. So, as they reached Jaya's house, what he saw in front of him were the weirdest huts. They were the strangest huts he had ever seen, and they were made of all sorts of things: metal sheets, tires, bricks, wood and plastic. And he found them he was very shocked looking at these houses, and he asked her, is this where you live? She said, yes, come on. And she put down her full sack. Then she picked up an empty one. Then she gave him a push and she said, come on, now you can help me. Come, wear these. She gave him an old pair of shoes and without any laces, and gave him an empty sack and a stick in his hands. Velu was very confused. He wondered what kind of work did Jaya expect him to do. The only work he had done so far in 11 years of his life was to work on the landowner's farm, where he weeded out all the he did weeding and taking cows out to graze. Then he asked Jaya if there were any farms in the city. She laughed and thumped her stick on the ground. Farms? There are no farmers here. We are rag pickers. Rag pickers? See my sack full of things I collected. Collected from where? Asked Velu. From rubbish bins. Where else? You collect rubbish? Velu had never heard of such a thing. Hey, blockhead, it's not any rubbish. It's only paper, plastic, glass and such things. We sell it to the Jam Bazaar Jaggu. Velu was puzzled. He had heard of people throwing away rubbish, but why would anyone want to buy rubbish? Who's Jam Bazaar Jaggu? Why is he buying all this? You think he buys it for show? He sells it to a factory. Come on, I don't have time to waste like you. Velu did not move. He hadn't run away and come to this new place to dig through garbage bins. Jaya poked at him with a stick. Look here, she shouted. If somebody gets there before us, we don't get anything. Don't just stand there posing big hero. I'm trying to help you. Who filled your stomach today? Velu scratched his head and sighed. I'll do it for now, he thought. So, after Jaya gave Velu a pair of shoes, an empty sack and a stick, she told him to come along. But he wondered, where was she taking him? Then he asked, are there farms around here? And she laughed. She said, there are no farms. We are rag pickers. He said, He didn't understand the meaning of rag picking. He said, rag picking what? From where? She says, oh, from rubbish. He says, from rubbish? Why would anyone? He says, I thought people threw out rubbish. Why are you going around collecting rubbish? So she said, I am collecting it so that I can go and sell it to the Jam Bazaar Jaggu. He said, but why would the Jam Bazaar Jaggu, first of all, who is he and why is he buying rubbish? Then, so she got angry. Jaya got angry and scolded him. You think that he's buying it for show? He's not buying it for show. He's buying all that rubbish to sell to a factory. So she said, come on, I have no time to waste talking to you. If we don't get there fast, somebody else will reach there and they'll take away all the things that we are supposed to pick. So she said, don't just stand there like one big hero giving a pose. She says, I'm trying to help you. You were hungry and I'm the one who fed you today, right? So then Velu had no other alternative, but he decided that okay, for the time being, I will do whatever Jaya is doing. I'll do the rag picking until I find a better job. Now children, this, as you can see, that this lesson was an extract from Thrash, that is the name of the book, and this is on the rag picker children and recycling. So this story tells us about the lives of children living in big cities, living in slums, and it tells us that they have no life of their own. There is a quote from Nelson Mandela. He says, the true character of society is revealed in how it treats its children. So, if we want our country to improve and develop, then our children need to have a better future than child labor and rag picking and living in slums So here, as we can see, that the lives of children living in slums in big cities is very pitiful. They have absolutely no kind of a childhood. They don't have time to play. They don't have the basic necessities of life, and they live in a very pitiable condition. And those children who make a mistake by running away from home end up in such sorry situations. Velu ran away from home because of his father, who would beat them, and there was no peace in the house. But here, as we can see, it was like he got out from the frying pan into the fire. So now we will have a look at the question answers of this lesson. Is Velu a smart boy? And which instances in the text show that he is or isn't? No, Velu is not at all a smart boy. He runs away from his home trying to escape his father's beating, and he felt very miserable at the railway station. He found himself alone, hungry, and he accepted rag picking because he wasn't fit for any other job. He was not educated and he was not even old enough to find some other kind of employment. Do you think Jaya is a brave and sensitive child with a sense of humor? Find instances from the lesson of her courage, kind nature and humor. Yes, Jaya is a very brave and sensitive girl. She takes pity on Velu. There was no need of her to go and befriend this poor Velu. He was a stranger, but even then she went there, took pity on him and gets food for him. She herself earns her livelihood bravely by collecting discarded material and selling them again. She has a sense of humor also. She calls the dirty trickle of water Buckingham Canal. Then the third question. What one throws away as waste may be valuable to others. Do you find this sentence very meaningful in the context of this story? How is it so? So, yes, the plastic, the paper, the rusty metal sheets thrown away by people become valuable to the rag pickers. They eat the leftover food in order to survive, and they sell junk food to some dealer in order to earn their livelihood. So children, I hope you have understood this lesson well. Here it says, the best investment that a country can make is to put milk into its children. People don't notice goodness because it is transparent like water and air. Only if it runs out does it become noticeable. It is never too late to have a happy childhood. Yes, so I would like you to think over these 3 sentences. The first one, the best investment that a country can make is to put milk, because what kind of life do children have if they don't even have the basic, like, they don't have proper food, they don't have proper clothing, they don't have a shelter, and people don't notice goodness. Why? Because it is transparent like water and air. Yes, goodness in people can only be experienced, but when goodness is not there, then it becomes very noticeable. And it is never too late to have a happy childhood. That means whatever people can do to give all the children in the country a happy childhood is a responsibility. So children, I want you to read this lesson once again and think about the question answers. Go through the question answers of the comprehension check and write all this in your fair book. Thank you and have a nice day.